Hi, I'm Sam, your resident fantasy reader,
And I'm Morgan, your romance reader, and we welcome you to Just One More Page.
where it's never just one more page.
Hey, Sam.
Hey.
Listen, this week has, been a week for us. And I do want to let you guys know that if my voice does sound funny, it's because I did a very minor, it was supposed to be a minor dental surgery. And honestly, I feel catfish because it definitely did not feel minor. But if I sound weird in this episode, like I have a lisp or it just sounds like a different voice, I do apologize. I'm still very, very swollen. So I do apologize. But yeah, I was definitely catfished. But this week was actually supposed to be a good week because one of our favorite writers came out with a new novel. I don't know if you know this, Sam. Two things I want to tell you. Abigail Owen, who this is the book we're going to read from her, she made the New
The New
York.
York Times bestseller. Yep.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
Yeah, that was awesome. I commented and told her that it was well deserved because she has written so many dang books. If you look at her list, she's written a lot. So, I mean, good on her. And of course, it's this like Hunger Games-esque Greek gods book that is the most popular with Hades as the shadow daddy. So, duh. Oh, TikTok's getting the best of me right now. Have you been on TikTok lately with the Death Eaters in Universal and everyone like taking it like in a very different tone than they have the years before?
No, what's going on?
I got sucked down a hole. Well, they're all like doing that lean of like seductively leaning into people. You just gotta find it. It's hilarious because it's all like dark romance girlies like hyping it up, and it's been a really weird rabbit hole to dig down, but I've dug down it.
Can I just say right now, I've always felt like it was really weird how people will overly sexualize Death Eaters. In my mind, aren't Death Eaters supposed to be like the really bad people in war? You know?
Yeah, they're supposed to be evil, but the guys who are playing the character and girls, there's women who are playing it too, have like they've been on Book Talk. I know they've been on Book Talk because they are just playing it up and it's so much fun to watch. It's just they took notes and they're like, "All right, you want dark romance? We're going to give you dark romance." And it's been so much
The
fun.
only side of book talk I've been on is people arguing whether or not you're an actual reader if you don't read paragraphs.
If you don't read paragraphs.
If there's a huge paragraph, they won't read it.
Oh yeah, no, I skim down.
I skim too, but I also like read it.
If it's like way too much like prose of unnecessary description of things, you can kind of tell it really doesn't matter if you aren't like if you read it or not. I'll like skip down to the next set of dialogue because it's sometimes unnecessary. Now, like if I feel like I missed a detail, I'll go back and see if I missed a detail because I did that with this book too. That something was happening and I was like, I must have missed something. And I went like a page and a half back and I was like, oh, that's where I missed it. And then I kept going. But like, if it's this long, like page long paragraph, I'm just like, come on. Like, nothing is that detailed.
Yeah, nothing is really that serious, you know? It's not that serious. But you know what? Let's talk about the book. 'Cause I mean, like, I'm excited to talk about it. You obviously want to talk about it. So, this week we're reading a novel from Abigail Owens called The Games God Plays, which is a new adult romance book that may just be a slow burn with a god. Hee hee hee. Anyways, I don't know about you, Sam, but I feel stupid because I thought that this was YA and this is actually a new adult romance.
Yeah, because it's a Red Tower book.
I don't think I've ever paid attention to like the publishing company. Is Red Tower like Fourth Wing?
Yeah, Red Tower is the same as Fourth Wing.
Oh, okay.
Side tangent before you talk about the book. I have the first edition of this with the like sprayed edges. You do too. And I will say that no less than 6 people at work have all touched my book because it was sitting on my desk. And they're all like, oh, it's so pretty. And then they're sitting there fanning the pages. And I was like, bitch, don't touch my book.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
Do not
not.
touch my book, man. Anyway, that was my side tangent.
I was out at Target with Rosie, who was on the podcast before, and we walked by and she saw the book and I was like, just get it. Just get it. She's very like, oh, is this aesthetically pleasing? I like it. And I'm like, just get it. You don't even need to know what's about, but just get it. And I was like, and also I love this writer, so also you just get it too. But this book is It's gorgeous. If you don't know what the book looks like, it has, is it, okay, someone called me out on this. Is this sprayed edges or stenciled edges? What do you say?
It's sprayed and stenciled.
Okay, so sprayed in stencil edges. It has a design under the desk cover, and the desk cover is absolutely gorgeous. So if you want a beautiful book that isn't like $50,000, hello, Fairy Loot, then you should definitely check this one out and get it because beautiful. You know what? Let me tell you what the book's about, okay? So this book follows Lyra, a cursed office clerk who works for the Order of the Thieves. She hopes that if she keeps her head down, then no one from Olympus will notice her, which isn't an easy feat since San Francisco is Zeus's patron city. What she doesn't expect is to get entangled with another god, the god of the underworld, Hades. For the first time, Hades is joining the Crucible, a deadly contest that the gods hold to determine a new ruler to sit on the throne of Olympus. Instead of fighting their own battles, the gods name mortals to compete in their stead. So why did Hades choose a cursed nobody to be his champion? Why does every time he says, I'm his, her heart trips? She doesn't know if she's the pawn, bait, or something else entirely to this dangerous, tempting god. How can she when he has more secrets than the stars in the sky? Because Hades is playing by his own rules and will win at any cost. Now, since this novel is over 500 pages, Sam and I both decided to cut this novel in half and do 2 different episodes. The first novel is from chapter 1 to chapter 56. We're going to be reading the rest of the book just so we don't really miss anything. And we also feel like when the book's too large, you can't really talk about everything. Sam, what did you think about this book so far? I know it's really hard to kind of give a rating so far, but what was your like thought process so far?
I really like it. I'm so glad I sticky noted to the next chapter because my eyes would have gazed over. I thought it was going to be way more bloodbathy than it actually is, but it's kind of interesting to like see how the gods interact with each other, how the gods chose their chosen disciple peoples, like how they're interacting with each other. It definitely feels like it has a pull between like the Hunger Games and Percy Jackson, and it feels a little bit of like nostalgia, but like aged up. I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to finish it. I can't wait to find out how Lyra and Hades, how their relationship grows through this, and I'm loving it. I'm having a fun time.
Do you have like a rating so far? Like, or is it hard to kind of set one?
It's kind of hard to set one. I'm gonna go with like a solid between 4 and 5 range. I'm not really sure where I want to be. I want to see how this plays out, but it's definitely rating highly enough that like, I mean, I don't want to DNF it yet. I want to keep going. So
Oh, yeah, of course. When I first found out that Abigail Owens was having another novel coming out, which, by the way, we read her Dominion series on the podcast before, which is why
yes,
we absolutely love her because that series, I think it's like at least on our top 5 favorite podcast books we read that we can both agree on. When I found out once again that she's coming out with a new book and that had to do with Greek mythology, I was beyond excited because, hi, I love anything to do with Greek mythology. I actually want to get like Greek mythology tattoos, but there were things about this novel that I really liked, such as how Greek mythology is intertwined into this world. It's not like Percy Jackson, where mortals have no clue that Greek gods and goddesses are real. It's not like a novel where the Greek gods are there, but it's not really focused on the book or there's no magic. This novel is chock full of many different gods and goddesses. Some, of course, are major ones, such as like Poseidon or Apollo. And then there are some that are minor gods that surprised me to read about. There are also certain items that are in play within this novel that I either heard about this item or made me kind of go down a rabbit hole looking up more about this item, which I absolutely love. So some people are actually saying that this novel was like Percy Jackson meets Hunger Games. And I guess I can see the Percy Jackson part because it's Greek mythology, but the Hunger Game kind of is pushing it. I could see where people would say it's Hunger Game as it's about a bunch of mortals playing games for the gods, but it's just not one huge game. It's different trials or different labors that are ran by a god or goddess. And like you said, it's not as bloody. It's not like as like shocking. And so I feel like it's not really the Hunger Games, but talking about the trials or I guess the labors, I would have loved to have them to be longer or for them not to start so fast. Actually, I think that might be a spoiler. So I'm gonna stop talking about like the labors of the champions that you have to go through. But let me just say, I did enjoy it, but I would want something different from what we got. As for the romance so far, because once again, we are halfway through this novel, I want to say that I'm not a fan of the instant love. Okay. I absolutely hate instant love. And so when I found out
I
this
have a
novel,
theory.
yeah,
I can't talk about it until the spoilery part, but I have a theory.
I have a theory too, and I wonder if our theories kind of match up. So, ooh, I guess I do like the romance. I like that Hades doing whatever he can to kind of help Lara, and Lara's just like doing the complete wrong thing. Like she's like not listening. She's like, if anything, he's like, please don't do that. And she's like, what? Don't touch the hot stove? I'm gonna touch it. Why not?
She is the embodiment of F around and find out.
Pretty much, pretty much. And also the kisses. I know this is a little bit of a sort, but like, the romantic kiss, oh, my heart. Listen, I have so many things I want to talk about, but to do so, we need to go into our spoiler section. So, Sam,
Morgan.
do you want to go into our spoiler section? Because I want to know your theory.
Yes, please.
So, if you have yet to read The Games God Plays by Abigail Owens and you don't want to be spoiled, then check out last week's episode in which we read The Ghosts of You by Michael Gray Bubla, a YA novel that made both Sam and me cry. Okay, maybe it was just me cry. Anyways, if you have already read this novel or you don't care to be spoiled, then sit back and listen to us discuss and review the rest of this book.
Theory. I think Lyra is reincarnated Persephone.
Ooh, I think that too.
I thought originally when they were talking about her having been passed away that it was a recent passing, but there's a point in the book where, which first of all, let's not talk about the altar that he has for her, but they said that it happened like a long time ago, like significantly a long amount of time ago, and I'm kind of curious if maybe she is the reincarnated Persephone and how that plays into the curse that she has. But my question is, if she has this curse on her, how is Hades like so attracted to her?
About the curse part, okay? We found out pretty early on that she has a curse by Zeus because her mother gave birth in his temple. Zeus cursed her that no one would ever pick her or be close to her. I don't think this is true.
I don't think it's true either.
If this was true, why would have Boone like brought her items into Hades' house?
Right. Why is Zai helping her?
Why are all these people trying to help her? Because I don't think this is true. I think this is something she's heard. This is because who told her this? Her parents?
Well, she was given up to the order when she was 3. So either her parents or someone from the order made this stupid thing up because no one was there. I mean, her parents sold her to the order. Maybe they told them to tell her this to make them feel better or make her feel better and not like resent her parents because it's not their fault I'm cursed. So, and then I think that curse is kind of taken on a personality and she's just generally pushed people away because she's like, I'm unlovable. I can't say 100% that I don't think there's a curse, but there's a high likelihood that there is no curse and that she may have been wrong place, wrong time, or right place, right time for Hades. And he's agreeing to take this curse off of her to have her come play the games or whatever.
I honestly think that this curse that was put on her isn't really there. And I have a feeling that this was a way to keep people away from her. I agree with you. Do you think that she's the reincarnation of Persephone or she's somehow like a half a god or what's it called? It's
Like a demigod?
Yeah, demigod. I want to say half blood.
Yeah, because she survived the river Styx.
And they made a big thing about how like, oh, if you were like a mortal, you would have died. And she's like, well, I got kissed. I have that luck. I have that protection. But honey, that doesn't protect you from that river. So I honestly feel like she is a demigod. Then again, who would her parent be? Persephone? Ew.
Well, I mean, she's reincarnated, then no. But maybe Hermes?
I don't know about Hermes. Hermes
Because she's in the order and she's a thief.
Well, can you imagine if Persephone had a baby and then she died and then that baby and I mean that whole concept is kind of weird, but then again you gotta remember that these gods, they've been alive for thousands and thousands of years.
Okay, so let's be honest. Zeus and Hera are brother and sister and they're married.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, I mean,
if you talk about Greek gods, like the lines are a little blurred.
well, I was talking more so age difference than
Yeah, that's true. The Greek gods are very incestuous. So I don't know. I don't think Abigail's going that far.
I guess we'll have to see, But I honestly feel like there's more to how she could survive, and I do agree, I think she's carnated. But my question for you is, how do you think Persephone died? Like, what do you think happened? Because, like, everyone's still upset that she died, like, her mother, when Laura went up to her and was like, "Hey, I'm really sorry about Persephone," Demetra was like, "Don't you dare talk about my daughter," and got, like, really snappy and was like, "No, how dare you?" So, my question to you is, how do you think she died?
I don't know how she died, but I feel like if it was a nefarious thing, I feel like I know who would have taken her out, and that was probably Zeus. And I feel like if Zeus took her out, because right now he's the reigning king, that would be a big reason for Hades to want to be a part of the Crucible. Because then he would not only be the king of the underworld, but he'd also be king of the gods. So this might be a revenge thing.
In some ways, though, I wonder if maybe he's playing the Crucible like Hades is playing it, and that way he can protect her or bring back Persephone. I also like that in the book, though, that Abigail goes like a different way of telling Persephone Hades' story, because Persephone Hades' story is kind of twisted, because we all know that Hades kidnapped her, brought her down to the underworld, and it was actually like, I'm pretty sure it was Zeus's idea to do that anyways. Kind of feel like it was nice, though, that they wrote it down like, "Oh, she wasn't my lover, like, I didn't love her, but she was my sister," which I kinda like that concept better.
Yeah, but I mean, then why the creepy altar in the closet?
Listen, doesn't everyone have a creepy closet?
Listen, if either one of us goes before the other one, we have to have a creepy altar in the closet for the other one.
I will have a creepy altar in the closet for you, Sam. Why not? So another thing I really do want to talk about is the challenges. So in this novel, there's 12 labors that they all must go through. Each one is planned by god or goddess. So far, we have reached the first challenge where you find like your god's item or on the table full of stuff. In return, each champion is given a gift from their person. And this is where Lyra gets this tattoo sleeve of animals that will come alive at her will, and a kiss from Hades that will protect her in the underworld. But besides that, we currently read Poseidon's labor, where they are tied on a pole and had to find a way out, but also had to stop a monster from hatching from eggs. Then the next one was Hermes' labor, where they had to figure out what of the three fates were telling the truth, who was lying, who was randomly lying. Of course, while doing this, they're on a mountain on planks, and they would slowly go back every single time someone would ask a question. And then we have Dionysus one, which was what every frat boy's dreams or maybe curse would be. And this is where they would have to work together to bring
Yeah.
Baccha to Dionysus, except throw in poison ivy. It will seriously kill you. But now we're on our fourth and fifth labor, which is Apollo and Artemis. One is an escape room, another one is a maze full of monsters. Which one so far out of the ones I just said are your favorite, and which one did you not like?
Okay, so my favorite was definitely the which one's telling the truth, which one's lying, because I thought that was super interesting. It kind of relies on your brain and your brain alone. But you can't really cheat that. I think my least favorite was the first one was Poseidon and them just all being tied on posts for no dang reason. And then it was like, hey, here's a monster that's about to kill you. Wasn't a big fan of that one. I'm really interested to see the next one, Artemis's like obstacle course that's about to come up. And I really liked the one that she just did to the escape room was super interesting.
So the one that I really liked was Dionysus one, but I also kind of feel like, and I don't know if you feel the same way, but the labors kind of happen really fast.
Oh, they're so quick.
Yeah, and it also feels like 1 minute you're like, she's sleeping, they're like, hey, the labor's starting, wake up. And it's kind of feeling like, in a way, it's so unprepared. Like, you think that if you had 500 years to prepare this, that you would have people getting ready or be prepared for certain things, certain items. But instead, like, everyone's kind of like, oh, yeah, you gotta wake up because it's about to start. But I honestly liked the Dionysus one because I felt like it was a lot of action. And the other ones I did like, but I don't know, I like this one more because I wanted more risks, more actions, and I wanted, and this sounds really kind of morbid, but I wanted someone to die.
I mean, a couple of people have died. Well, I think no, only one has died. One has died, and then one got hurt really, really bad.
I want more of that risk. I want more of the like, oh my god, is she gonna pass away? Is her ally gonna pass away? Like, what is gonna happen? Like, I wanted more of that kind of like, you're on the edge of your seat. And I get it that there are 12 labors, which I find really interesting because, like, I know that in Greek mythology, Hercules had to perform 12 labors, and there were actually punishments for killing his wife and children after being tricked by Hera. And it just kind of makes me wonder if there's more to it.
It's the number of gods that participate. So each one gets to pick a challenge, which is why
Oh.
that Hades couldn't pick a challenge because I guess it had already been set for like a year prior, which is I think a BS excuse or whatever. So I think that's why there's 12 labors. My biggest complaint, and I feel like would add like a level of, I guess, I can't even think of the word, basically higher stakes, is all these champions, they all got their gifts. But I feel like they should have had a rule where, like, once you've used your gift, it's gone. It's like, do you use it sooner? Do you use it later? I feel like it would add an extra layer because Lyra has these tattoos that can just come to life, and she can use them pretty much many times as she wants. So it's like, why don't you just use them all the time? Or like, yeah, you have this extra piece or this extra like give, but if you can have it all the time, it's kind of like a cheat. It's not really a help. So I don't know. I wish the gifts they had more stakes to them.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing that's missing from this book is that it doesn't have a lot of stakes. So far, everyone has been okay. No one has died. I mean, except one girl who died because she got bit. But like, I wish that the stakes were a little bit higher, if anything. But the one thing I did like, besides, obviously the challenges, was the love story. Was the love story perfect? No. But were there scenes where I was screaming? Yes. Especially when he kept calling her his star. And I was like, say up my heart. Like when he's like, my little star, I was like,
I know. I know. He's like, because you're mine. I'm like, oh, Lordy.
yes. Okay, so there's one scene where she was attacked by Poseidon because Poseidon's champion died and he's blaming her, even though we all know it's like kind of made the monster. So it's kind of like low key your fault that she died, but okay, whatever. Poseidon attacks her and Hades comes out of nowhere and Hades is about to stab him. And when she's like, no, don't stab him, he's like, okay, not for you. Fine, for me, because you are mine and he dared to threaten you, let alone make you bleed. Sam! I was like, oh my god.
I know. I highlighted that. I highlighted that when I was reading on my tablet. I was like, ooh, I like that line. That's my favorite.
Right? And then when they kiss, because he's like, I'm gonna give you a kiss to the under, which by the way, I think that her gift that she got with the tattoos, those were cool. And then the other one he got, like where he's like, I gotta kiss you so you're safe in the underworld. I don't really think that's a great gift to help her.
It isn't, but I think it's kind of to save her soul. Ultimately, if she dies, he can find her and bring her back, kind of like Hercules brought Meg back in the movie. I'm just referencing the Disney movie. I don't really know much about the actual like Hercules story. I feel like it's an insurance policy essentially to save her soul. But can we talk about Cerberus? And I love that she broke up the name for like Sir for like serious one and then Burr and then us and I love that dog. And he's like, I told you not to pet him, and she's like, he said I could. I was like, I love this.
Can I just say I love how the dog completely threw Hades under the bus when he's like, oh, we're not supposed to tell you, but we're gonna tell you. I'm like, I love you. I absolutely love you. And also I love the fact that when she goes into the kitchen, she sees Hades wearing a shirt saying, no, you cannot pet my dog. And I'm like,
Oh, I know.
well, another person though I really do like from the Underworld is Charon, the
Is
fairy.
it Karen?
Karen, the ferryman. And I love the fact that they're like, she's like, I am so nervous to meet him because I thought he was a skeleton. And I have so many, like, because he is the ferryman of the underworld to bring people their souls to, I don't know, like across the
The
river.
Underworld, yeah.
Yeah. And so she's like thinking he's going to be a skeleton. And he comes into view and she's like, oh, he's hot. What? He's hot. Well, how is he so hot? I do not know.
And then he's like, low key, Hades can't tell you this, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. And I'm like, I'm loving that. Like everyone's like, I know Hades can't do this. I'm just gonna do it for him. Like we got our bros back. Like we're gonna do this for you.
I absolutely love those characters. I love how much they love Hades. And they're like, listen, this is our friend, but we love you and we want you to be with him. So we're going to tell you these things. I want to ask you about there are so many characters in this.
There are so many characters.
Yeah, so it's a little bit hard to kind of keep track of who's who. I did write a list. I'm going to go through a list of the champions with their gods. I want you to let me know if you think that these people are going to die or if they're going to like side with her in the end. Okay, so the first one is Zeus and Samuel.
Okay, Samuel seems like a fencer because he was on the side that was against Lyra, and then now he's on the side with Lyra. I don't know where he's going to end up. He's probably going to die. He's probably going to end up siding with Lyra and then dying, honestly.
That he's gonna side with her towards the end because it's very obvious that he doesn't want to hurt her, but he doesn't want Hades to rule like Olympus. So that's why he's siding with the
Yeah.
rest of them. Okay, so Isabel for Poseidon, she already passed away. R.I.P. Right? Hades has Lara. She's obviously gonna live. Well, can you imagine if she dies in the end of this? Oh, plot
Listen,
twist.
I haven't been spoiled yet, but I heard there's a nasty cliffhanger at the end of this, and I am scared. I am so scared, man.
No, oh my god. Okay. Whenever I see someone holding up this book on TikTok, I've been swiping so fast, so I haven't heard anything. You're like, "Bye. I
Yeah,
can't even look
bye.
at your videos. I'm so sorry." So, Hera has Amar, and Amar actually fell during Hermes' labor.
I don't know about him. I think he's already with Lyra right now. I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna live or die, but I mean, he already fell, so maybe he's not gonna make it. I don't know.
Okay, so then you have Artemis, who has Kim Dae-hun.
Yeah, he's already against Lyra. Day's with Dex, so I don't know if he's gonna die, but he's definitely not a Lyra fan.
And then you have Hermes, which is Zai. Is that how you say his name? Zai? Z-A-I?
I think that's how I've been saying is Zai.
I really like Zai because he obviously allies with Lara, but I also really like the fact that of everyone, he has like a backstory because his family lived in Olympus because his father won it last time. Now he is trying to win it, which is crazy that they chose him, and now his father is like, I never should have chose you, and it's like, I would have rather you not choose me.
There's a deeper story that I hope we get out of that. My question is that if his dad was Zeus's champion, why is he not also Zeus's champion?
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe he pissed off Zeus. Ooh, I like Zai. I really hope that Zai doesn't die. If he dies, I'm throwing this book.
Don't
Well, I
die,
don't want to
Zai.
throw this book because this book is gorgeous, but I'm going to want to throw this book. So please don't die. Then you have Dionysus, which is Mikia, Meike. And I think that she is allied with Lyra because she's the one that's like really upbeat.
I mean, she's the one who had to be saved from the vines, so she might not be in the books much longer. I don't know.
I think she's fine because she did save her. Then you have Aphrodite, which is Jackie, which I don't think that she's with Lyra. I can remember.
Isn't she the one who took the bottles and just left?
Oh, yeah, she is.
She's there, but I don't really feel like at this point she's going to make any difference. And she's just kind of, she might just die for the sake of getting rid of a character because there's literally so many running around. But I don't feel like she's like important.
Okay, and then you have Ares, which is Neve.
Neve's already on anti Lyra.
From the day one, Neve is like, I hate you. I think pretty much from the day one, Neve is like, watch it, bitch. Like, Neve was not nice. Athena has Dex, which we all know Dex absolutely hates Lyra. And then for Demetra, we have Diego.
Diego's on their side. No, he's on the other side. I just, I think it's interesting that like this much divide over Lyra and hate her being like Hades champion and everything instead of them just like focusing on winning. They're all like, we're gonna try and knock you out, but it's like, why? I don't know. I feel like the hatred came in at like a weird spot because the gods were annoyed, but no one was like outright like, we hate you, f you, get out of here, Hades. But they're all like against her, but in like a weirdly like focused reason, and I don't understand the reason why they're all so against her. It kind of feels like in the Hunger Games when you have the tributes from like 1 through like 3 where they're all the careers, that's what they call them, is the careers. That's what it feels like, is like the careers against everybody else, and I'm like, I don't get it. I feel like Dax should be like wanting to kill everybody, but he's like, no, just you. Like, I don't understand that.
The whole competition for me, I feel like would have made sense if this was happening every year, but this happened every 500 years. And like, I get it because like gods, like their time span is longer. So it's like a blink of the eye for them. But like, I would have loved it if this was like a lot more often and people do die. And it's not like, because obviously people have to worship the gods, you can fear the gods. And I feel like it would have been better if it was like every single year and people are plotting. There's like plotting, and it's kind of like the Hunger Games where you have to make allies and people are plotting against each other. But instead, it feels like the stakes are low and they're like, you know what? If you survive at the end, you survive at the end. It's not like the one person who's alive wins. It's whoever wins the games.
Yeah, I mean, the only real stake is like, your god gets to be the ruler for the next whatever 100 years or so, and you get blessed, which is fantastic, and your family gets blessed. Like, you get a lot of like prizes out of this, but there's no like consequence. Like, if you don't win, it doesn't sound like you go home. It sounds like you just stay in Olympus and live out your mortal life or whatever.
I thought they do go home.
No, they said this year they're returning the bodies only because Hades is in it, which I didn't realize they didn't return the bodies. Did they live? Did they die? You'll never know. And then also the choosing so Lyra never like offered herself up to Hades, but it sounds like people were like offering themselves up to their god. But like I want to know the offering and the choosing and how that actually worked, or if the god was just, hey, you're in my city, I'm gonna choose you. Like I don't like. I wish we got more details on like kind of how that worked. They say like Zeus is the ruler over San Francisco. So is Apollo the ruler over Australia? I just want to know what that dynamic is because I really don't understand it.
I think it'd be better if we had more background, but then again, we have to finish the rest of this book to kind of like see if there's more to it. I do want to ask you some small questions before we end this episode that I had. Number one is, what do you think about Zai and him being an ally to Laura? Do you think that he'll stay an ally to her?
I feel like they're a pretty strong connection. It could be a good plot twist, not really plot twist, but a good twist at the end where he's with her this whole time just to go against her. That would be super interesting.
I don't want him to. I like
I
him.
do too. And now he lives with Hades too because he got kicked out of his own house. So I think Zai is gonna stay. I hope Zai stays. I hope there's a weird love triangle between Hades and Zai and Lyra. That would be interesting.
Do you think that the thieves, like Boone and Felix and like, all the thieves that were in the book are going to come into play in the rest of the book?
I hope so, only because we got so much background information about them and they played such a big part in like the very beginning, and then Boone ended up showing up and giving her all that stuff. I would hope they weren't just like a blip in this world. Now, I'm pretty sure this is the first book in a series too, so hopefully even if they don't play a big part in this book, that they play a part later on and that they aren't just like side character mentions.
Yeah, I hope so too. So, why do you think that she has an axe that was owned by Hades? The pair is from Odin that is gifted to Kronos after they were imprisoned, the Titans and Taurus. Why do you think she has that other axe?
Again, back to my I think she's Persephone reincarnated, is that she has Hades' axe.
I think so too. And then the fact that I kept showing up for her and she's like, listen, I didn't steal it. Like, I kept showing up, which by the way, can I just say how stupid she is to use like that? Like, Hades, like, don't use these gifts. And she's like, I'm going to use it.
Well, and then Kronos was like, hey, if you swallow this pearl, like everyone's gonna be angry at you. And then when they were, she was like, I didn't know they were gonna be so angry. And I was like, bitch, they told you.
Literally told you about it, but okay, live your best life. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen in the rest of the book, especially because Hades is taken away for punishment and she's in the middle, like we're in the middle of a legit labor to see who's going to win Artemis's one, which I'm excited about. Which also, by the way, why does she keep helping everyone? Like, I get it, she's trying to be nice and help, but like if it was me, I'd be like, I'm trying to live, I'm going to help my allies, but I'm not going to help anyone else.
Like, I understand her trying to help when they were first trying to find relics at the beginning, but when like everyone and their brother was stop helping people, like we hate you, and then she's still like, I'm gonna help them. I'm hoping that her helping has some sort of like reward at the end of all of this, like an unspoken rule of the most helpful person, then their person should be the ruler because they clearly care about the people. I don't know, but she needs to stop.
Yes, I agree. I mean, I get it helping her allies, but it's like, stop, ma'am. Ma'am, please stop. Anyways, next week, obviously, we're going to be finishing this novel. And so hopefully our theories are right and we're excited about it. But if you guys did like this episode and would like to support us, please remember to rate us on Spotify as it does help push our podcast out there. Also, remember to check out us anywhere else you can find a podcast, such as Apple, Spotify, and pretty much anywhere else. We also have a YouTube channel, Just More page, and Sam will tell you about the rest of our socials.
So if you think we are absolutely hilarious, which fun fact, my friends, we are. We do have a TikTok. It is Just One Page Podcast. And for all the pictures, videos, stories, anything else we decide to post randomly, we do have an Instagram. It is Just One Page Official. So go ahead and follow us on there. Come slide into our DMs. We love talking to you all. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And we will talk to you all next Sunday when we finally finish this dang book.
Yes, and we can tell you if there was actually a cliffhanger, which, and
Right.
let's hope I don't throw this book. Anyways,
I know, right?
we will see you guys next Sunday.
All right. Bye.
Okay, bye.